Greetings and salutations, one and all. Happy hump night to you. I almost said happy hump day. Happy hump night to you. Big ups. I want to say welcome to each and every one of you locked in right now. Those tuning on TuneIn Radio, Rockbox.net, the Foundation Radio Network, One Harmony Radio, and the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Steele. Those tuning on PEMGTV.com, big ups to you. And of course, right here at the home of the Night Shift, KevinStew.com, where you find the stew pot. Come on in, the water is always fine. It is Wednesday night. It's the night we do the thing called Marlon's favorite night shift show. Yeah, that's a little bit of a mouthful. Marlon's favorite night shift show. Real Talk Wednesdays. Call a friend, tell a friend. Come on in. All are welcome. Kicking it off with a little Marshall Montano. It's called Human.
From the heart, boy, I can't fight this feeling. You know I don't mean it. No, from the start, boy. Don't know what I'm doing till the end. You stuck through it, yeah. And you keep pulling at my heartstring, right down to my navel. It's only you could make my heart sing. You alone make me stable. I say, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Pulse E-Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show. When being in the moment is priceless, you want to give them a call. 754-999-6020 or visit them at pulseemg.com. They'll take care of any moment you're having. If you want to stream it or just capture it, ask them how they can help you out. And when you call them, don't be shy. Feel free to call my name. Give me forgiveness. So tonight we're talking about vulnerability. And when typically when you hear about vulnerability, you immediately think, well, I know I used to think along the lines of what I posted about the show tonight, being weak, and what did I say? I had a moment of brilliance when I had put that together. Let me find it. I can't even remember my own words. But big ups to each and every one of you locked in right now. Yeah. I have some friends, boy. Big ups to you wherever you are in the world tuned in right now. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you, and I promise you I wouldn't even try. So feeling weak, feeling exposed, defenseless, helpless, all these things are typical of the things that come to mind when I used to hear the word vulnerable. So I'm thinking, like most people, vulnerability is something for the weak-minded or the dependents, those who have to rely on someone else just to get by. Is that what anybody else thought that along that line? Big up Marlon, big up Julian, big up 522 in the stew pot. Want to encourage you guys to jump on into the stew pot where we're interactive. Where you find the stew pot, kevinstew.com. It's what others call a chat room. With us, it's a stew pot. It's where we keep things bubbling. And of course, you can get in touch also by calling in or texting in 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. All right. So what then really does it mean to be vulnerable? What is the definition of vulnerable? Well, apparently it is being susceptible to physical or emotional attack or harm. So if you're vulnerable, you could use things like unguarded, unprotected, endangered, in jeopardy, at risk, in danger. Those are all words that could very well apply to being vulnerable. And by definition, if we're going by definition alone, by definition that it's very much right there. But what is it that vulnerability, could it really mean something else? Because according to Holly Riordan, it has nothing to do with weakness. And I had asked the question over the weekend, by way of a meme. If I say I'm vulnerable, does that mean I'm weak? And all of the responses that I saw to that meme said no. I didn't follow it up by asking, okay, then what does it mean? But that's kind of where we're looking to go tonight. And of course, I'd love for you guys to be as interactive as you've always been, because that's why we're here. We're here to share and to draw on each other, to learn from each other, right? Not that you're a canvas and I get to draw on you. If that's what you're into, then fine. Bring on the markers. But yeah, we get to pull from each other. By that definition, we're all vulnerable in some way or many ways. Yeah, yeah, Marlon, we are. That is a real interesting thing, because you have some people that claim that they don't do vulnerability. So if by that definition we all are vulnerable in some way or in some fashion, how does it work with those people? Vulnerability means you fall easily. So you lack balance, maybe? You see the best in people. You love them over the little things, the way their smile tilts or the intensity of their stare. You get attached easily because you give yourself to the freedom to feel. When I read this, I thought, boy, Holly, you are onto something. Vulnerability means you're comfortable opening up to other people. You're willing to look someone in their eyes and spill your soul. You want others to know the authentic you instead of forcing a fake smile every time you enter the public eye. No, this is some real vulnerability. Vulnerability means your mood can change in an instant. Seeing one sentence on social media can cause your heart to drop. It can ruin your entire day, make you rethink everything you thought you knew about a person. How about everything you thought you knew about yourself? Vulnerability means you care deeply about things. You don't want to lose what you have because you love what you have. You love life, or at least certain pieces of it. And you're not willing to loosen your grasp on these things. Vulnerability means you're willing to jump headfirst into this thing we call love. You're willing to give someone half, maybe all your heart. To give them power, or just enough power, to destroy. Destroy what? To destroy you. But there's a flip side of that, because you're also giving them the power to rebuild you. Vulnerability means you're comfortable crying over the things that upset you instead of pushing away all your emotions. You're the type of person that grabs a tissue and let the tears fall instead of replacing your sadness with anger. You admit when you're upset instead of trying to put on an act and appear strong when you're secretly just crumbling away. Vulnerability means you have nothing to hide. The people closest to you know about your dreams, your hopes, your fears. They know who you really are. You've given them permission to dig deep inside of yourself. Vulnerability means you have a clear understanding of who you are as a person. You realize you're not indestructible. You're not superhuman. You're mortal and full of flaws. But amid all that, you're still beautiful. Vulnerability means having love for people you've never met. Realizing that you're in communion with strangers across the globe. That you're all connected because you share common thoughts and beliefs, that you're not so alone after all. Vulnerability means you have doubts. You think so highly of other people, of your friends and co-workers and parents, that you cannot stop yourself from comparing. It doesn't mean you hate yourself, but it does mean that you see places where you can make improvements and you try your hardest to do just that. Vulnerability means you admit when you're wrong. You don't pretend to know everything. You realize that you have a lot that is left to learn. And that there are so many people out there that can teach you so much more about the universe. Vulnerability means having a huge heart, caring about others, wanting what's best for the world. Vulnerability means you're human. So don't feel bad about shedding a tear, about admitting that no, you're not fine, about letting the truth out instead of spreading petty lies. Be proud of your vulnerability. That's one of the things that makes you so exceptional. If nothing else, your vulnerability. Vulnerability's name is Marlon. So, here it is. In the pot, we're already interactive. I don't think vulnerability means you fall easily. I think it's more that you decide to open up yourself to a particular person or placing yourself in a situation, even when you know there's a risk that you may not get the result you want, and that you may even get hurt. But you think that if you don't go for it, you will never know how a situation would end up. I like that, Julie. I like that. Vulnerability then means going ahead and allowing yourself to be a part of the unknown. Allowing yourself to give into that which you're not sure about. Being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, physically or emotionally. And you allow it. You let it happen. Yeah, pardon the crumbling in the background. Strange things happening around. But yeah, you allow yourself to be in this state. Is that something that you'd want to do, really and truly? Vulnerability. Something many of us actually avoid because of fear of being judged, because of fear of being hurt, or because simply of the fear of failure. To be vulnerable means to put ourselves in a position that could potentially hurt us. Many of us fear vulnerability because somewhere in our lives we've been hurt. At some point we had a situation that when we came out of it, or while we were going through it, we were like, this is it for me. I can take no more. I'm crushed. Whether it be a heartbreak, a rejection, a criticism, whatever it may be, crushed. It made us aware of ourselves, and we consciously avoid the possibility of being vulnerable again by dodging situations that could cause us the same pain or that kind of embarrassment or sense of rejection. So we become guarded. But vulnerability doesn't have to be a negative thing. To be vulnerable means you're putting yourself out there and you're being open to possibilities and opportunities. Fear is only a temporary thing constructed by a negative association with the event or activity. A temporary thing, which means you're the only one that would actually let fear remain, because it's not a permanent thing. The mere fact that you can overcome something means that it doesn't last forever. So here it is, fear, a temporary thing. And it only comes about because of this negative association. For some, public speaking is or can be quite crippling. And as you stand on a stage and you have 100 pairs of eyes just focused on you, watching your every movement, listening to your every word, then you start to feel that panic rise as you become acutely self-conscious of the potential judgment and the silent thoughts directed at you. That is putting yourself in a vulnerable position. But is it really such a bad thing? Think about that message that you're delivering as you address this public group, or this group publicly. Think about what you're giving versus what you don't know you're possibly receiving. Is that so crippling? Vulnerability can be leveraged. And that means you can use it to maximum advantage. When you open up yourself to the possibility, to criticism and rejection, you also find that you're opening up yourself to a chance and to growth. Have you ever had a situation or been in a situation where you're afraid to ask a question? To put yourself up as a potential candidate for something like a promotion. Not doing it only inhibits your opportunity for a change. To leverage your vulnerability means to not let your fears prevent you from moving towards that thing that you want in life. That goal that you may have set however long ago. And the only thing preventing you from getting to it is fear. Fear comes from your inability to control the outcome of a situation to suit what you desire. To be vulnerable means you're exposing yourself to that fear on purpose. In order to leverage your vulnerability, you need to be able to take ownership of that fear so that you can now take that and mold the final outcome to suit your needs. Now, how does being vulnerable sound at this point? When you know that you're saying, okay, hello, fear. meet me. And at this point, I am going to take control of you. And I'm going to do that which I really want to do. I'm going to go after that which I really want to get. I may not get it, but if I don't try, I won't know if I can. So fear, meet my vulnerability, which is my strength, which is that power that I will exhibit over you, fear. How do you feel about being vulnerable now? We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to look at how to change and model your fear the way you want it to be. You think that's something you can do? I think so. Let's take it on. That's our new challenge. That's our challenge for when we come back in the next segment. I want to thank Policy Media once again for sponsoring this segment of the show. And being in the moment is priceless. Policy Media Group got you. Give them a call. When you call them, tell them you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Cool? We'll be right back.
Policy Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Policy Media Group.
Are you crazy about the music industry? You aspire to hit it big in music? Or maybe you've sweated out a soulful killer beat and are now stuck finding it's not as easy as it looked. Oh, but it can be easy for you with JTMC. We've been there. We know how it feels. So we solve challenges like production, promotion, marketing, branding and development, and more. With over 30 years of experience, JTMC is a one-stop shop for artists. We handle your graphic design, writing services, PR, as well as event planning, e-blasts, artist management, and bookings, so also your website and social media needs as well. We're experts in using creativity to persuade audiences on behalf of artists, drawing on our diverse experience to create projects that connect with audiences intellectually and emotionally. Artist success is everything to us, and our years of experience and commitment will be behind you for every one of your needs. If you've got music for the world to hear, whether you're a new or established artist, visit us at jtmcenterprise.com.
Roll out with Island Rock Music and have fun. Check out the quality apparel at islandrockmusic.com. Designed for you and your crew. Hear the music, feel the breeze, with selected tracks and more. Available now from the online store at islandrockmusic.com. islandrockmusic.com. Log on today and ride with us.
Stepping, these are roots vibrations. Stepping.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school,
In math,
I learned that I'm ugly
I
and
learned
useless.
that I'm trash.
And in gym,
In biology,
I learned that I'm pathetic
that I'm fat
and a
and
joke.
stupid.
In history,
Today in
I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one
In
likes me.
biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in
I
math,
learned that I make people
I
sick.
learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today
The only thing I didn't learn today
The only thing I didn't learn,
It's why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift, the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Selassie DJ Kevin Stew.
Eyes me see, real up, she no misdemeanor like me see. She rotate the waistline and she see gangsta she want, she no want not a damn sissy. She sniff me out when me spray on the issy. Now left me side, she stick on palm me like Vicky. And me alone she give the secret in the Vicky. She know say man a pattern, and if she cheat it I go stick it.
I don't wanna wait for love. I don't want nobody else but you. You make me feel so good. I wanna give you my love. I wanna give you this feeling that is for you. Oh, it feels so good when you touch my body. You close into my arms.
It feels so right when I'm with you, baby. All the time. No. She don't want me like a plasma. She love her fist, want a big charisma. Push it for now, she catch asthma. Gun to this height, let me give you that sitting down where you ask for. So ride on, baby. Me love how you wine on, baby. If a bedroom work, me response. You're the thing in the pants, and me roots are me sponsor.
I'm gonna give you my love, 'cause you treat me right. Don't stick by you like Sheba, like King Solomon said. Gonna give you my all you want ever, 'cause I got this love for sure. Oh, it feels so good when you touch my body. You close into my arms. So right when I'm with you, baby.
Track is called Feel So Right. Busy Signal working out with Natisha Stream. Welcome back to the show. It's a night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. The edition called Real Talk Wednesday, aka Marlon's favorite night shift show. I want to say thanks to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment of the show. GMAT Music Solutions providing you with light, stage and production services, musical equipment, PA systems, audio engineers, DJs, bands, musicians and singers. Bringing your event to life. GMAT Music Solutions, 754-307-4622, 754-307-GMAC, or you can visit them at gmatmusicsolutions.com. For those of you who don't know, the Happy Blanket is still available. beautifully well handcrafted blanket. It feels so cozy. Still available. Give me a call. 773-789-STEW. Let me connect you. Also want to remind you, the 3rd annual Caribbean basketball tournament is coming up. Yep, May 25 is just around the corner, folks. You definitely want to plan to be there. Because this year, oh boy, aren't we in for a treat? I got a message just before we went on the break. You know, if your legs are too weak, you may fall. As we were talking about being vulnerable. And yeah, that's true. But you won't know unless you try. So are you going to assume, because of fear, the fear of falling, you're going to assume that your legs are too weak? No. You got to try. And here's the thing. If your legs are too weak, chances are, with trying and trying and trying again, each time facing this vulnerability, facing this accepting this vulnerability and facing this fear, the possibility exists that each time you try, your legs will get stronger. And there'll come a point where you try and realize, I'm not falling. I'm stumbling, but I'm not falling. So I'm going to try some more. Everything begins in the mind and ends at the same point. In the mind. While we cannot control how things and people react externally, we have complete power over our own mind and how we view things. The stories we tell ourselves shape how we view the world and interpret how the world views us. Change that narrative. And in doing so, you're able to change your viewpoint towards your fears. Rather than telling yourself that you're stuck, or you suck at something, or your legs are too weak, extend that voice further. Yeah, right now, you actually might suck. But it is also the first step at getting better at that particular thing. The fact that you know that you are actually not good at a particular thing and you want to get better means that you have something to measure against the next time you actually choose to measure it up. So whether it be a few days, a few weeks, a few months, whatever, you have something to measure it against. The trick here is to accept that negative thought and then transform that into a positive one. You have to embrace the fear in order to own it. Don't run away from the fear. I remember when I was learning to play music, some 30 plus years ago. I remember when I was learning to play music, and I was taught the lines and spaces. So, of course, before I could get a sound out of any musical instruments, I had to learn the rudiments. I had to learn the basics of music, the theory. And most times you won't know how, just reading a comment here in the pot, most times you won't know how strong your legs are until you're actually in the situation to use them. There you go, Julian. Thank you. See, you agree with me. So here it was, as learning the rudiments of music. I was learning music theory. And I was learning the lines and spaces. And I thought I was never in a million years going to get the names of all these lines and all these spaces. And when I look at a piece of music that the people that had already learned how to read music was playing, I was like, how am I going to learn what these are, let alone to learn to play this? That's nuts. And I was so afraid. Needless to say, I wasn't allowed the opportunity to give in to my fears. Because that would mean that I was allowed to not go to this, to get up on a Saturday morning and actually leave my house on my own to go and learn this music. That I think, looking back at it now, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I actually had to get up on a Saturday morning early to go to my uncle's house to learn how to do this thing that I was so not good at. I was horrible. I didn't know what the E line was different from what the B line was. I didn't know what the A space was. I didn't know anything. And although I was taught that every good boy deserves favors, I was like, wait, how did that go again? Every boy good, I couldn't remember what it was. Those are the lines, by the way. E, G, B, D, F on the treble clef. Quick music class for you. Starting from the bottom to the top. Every good boy deserves favors. And that was how I was taught to remember the lines. And the space is spelled face. F-A-C-E. And then later on, it really came like an aha moment one day. I was looking at it. I was like, wait a minute. That's E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Starting with the E line, ending on the F line, including the spaces. Because the musical alphabet doesn't pass G. After G, it goes back to A. And I was like, looking back when I was starting to learn this, I couldn't get this. This was what I was so afraid of. Not to mention going to do music exams. Yeah, I sat music theory exams. I remember my first music theory exam. I was so afraid. Boy, was I afraid. But that is what the being vulnerable, it comes back to just facing that fear. And I moved from that point. Well, every good boy does fine, yeah. There's that one too, Marlon, yeah. And there's also every good boy deserves fudge. But we we digress. I ended up moving from there because now I got over that. The next fear was actually blowing a note. And when I got blowing off the note, the next fear was playing a series of notes to form a melody in front of a group. And each time there was another fear, and another fear, and another fear. And looking back at it, then you realize, wait a minute, that was a fear at one point. I overcame that one. And, oh, but I can, and I can. Accept the fear, own that fear, and decide that you're going to challenge it. Because yes, the possibility exists that you will make a mistake. The possibility exists that someone may laugh at you. But the possibility exists also that you'll get a standing ovation and you'll be admired. That thought makes you feel good, doesn't it? Yes, it does. To shy away from being vulnerable means that you're trying to protect yourself against some sort of pain. To identify what it is you're afraid of, to examine it and turn it upside down will allow you to construct a different narrative for that fear. So while your body may react differently, if you mentally have ownership of your fears, you have the ability to pause and readjust your natural reaction against the thing that scares you. While feeling vulnerable and exposed, you have the power to change the possible outcome and adjust your physical reaction in order to achieve your desired outcome. I'll let you in on a little secret. To this day, I still get the jitters when I have to do things in public. Yeah. Yet still I do this show 3 nights a week, right? Anyway, recently I did karaoke for the first time in years. When I say years, I no exaggeration, it had to have been probably 20 years ago since the last time I did karaoke. Can I tell you, I was nervous. I was afraid that I'd be singing the wrong notes and I'd be making mistakes and not getting the words. And listen, then I remembered what I've been telling people all the time about karaoke. Karaoke is to have fun. So it's not like you're going for an audition for a recording contract. So have fun. That's what karaoke is about. Making mistakes, sounding goofy, looking goofy, but just having fun. And I owned that fear. And I got through it. I made it through karaoke. See, you still get the jitters, Marlon. There you go. But you own it. And you say, listen, I am going to just take this on and I'm going to... Me and my friend Mr. Rum is going... you know, that kind of... We're just going to run with it. When we purposely put ourselves into positions of vulnerability, whether it is talking to strangers at a bar or presenting ideas to the boss or even asking for directions, because that in itself can be quite daunting sometimes. What this we're doing is allowing ourselves to get used to the feeling and the idea of rejection. Many of us fear situations that put us in vulnerable situations simply because of how it makes us feel. Whether it is embarrassment or shame, by practicing purposeful vulnerability, we learn to not over-dramatize the situation in our heads. When we expose our vulnerable selves enough, we begin to collect a series of experiences that help realign our viewpoint of the world and makes us less fearful of it. Over time, what happens is it allows us to safely be vulnerable without the associated fears that come with it. Vulnerability doesn't have to be a horrible thing. Hey 303, welcome to the show. Okay, bye 303. That was kind of quick. So yeah, Marlon, you there you go. Public speaker for 27 years. Still getting the jitters. It's a thing, and it's a real thing. Being vulnerable also means that you expose yourself to fear. But the two they don't always have to be together. You can control your fear without giving in to an alternative voice over the negative thoughts. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable means that you're allowing yourself to discover new things, new experiences. It also lets you have the opportunity that you may have missed out on, such as a new relationship, new networks, new ideas. All this just because you're vulnerable. So basically, what you want to do is to actually be vulnerable. Allow yourself to be vulnerable and do something you've always wanted to do but have avoided doing because of fear. You never actually know what the real outcome may be unless you take a shot at it. Give it a try. Challenge that fear that you may have and see where you end up. What do you have to lose? Really? Do you have something to lose? Those who have been public speakers, those who have challenged themselves, because really and truly, I can't say I know anyone who has done public speaking that has said, you know, I'm fine. I get up and I stand there and all these eyes are on me and everybody is focused on me and I have no problems presenting whatever it is I have to present. I haven't quite met that person yet. Or maybe that person is there and I just haven't asked them that question to get that answer. But when you have someone doing public speaking for almost 30 years saying, listen, I get the jitters to this day. I feel that fear to this day. I think that says something. I think that makes a difference. And what sets a person like that who continues to add years to public speaking, that continues to add years to doing a broadcast, what sets them apart from the person that says, you know, I've always wanted to, is the fact that they faced that fear. They decided, listen, whatever this is, I'm going to take it on head first. And win, lose, or draw, I'm going to do it. But I'm going for the win. I'm changing that narrative. I'm changing what that fear is saying about me failing, about me not doing the best I can do, or being the best I can be, but failing and failing miserably. I'm going to challenge that. And I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to say, I'm going to do the best I can do at this time. And take from this whatever I can so that the next time I'm even better. That's changing the narrative. That's owning the fear. That's recognizing that you're vulnerable, but not being crippled by it. We're going to take another quick little break. When we come back, we talk some more. It's a night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Real Talk Wednesday. We're talking about the strength of vulnerability. We'll be right back. When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulseemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
I'm in almost every school bus in class. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm 1 out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger.
Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help.
Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me. We are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
JTMC Music presents the highly anticipated, much talked about, The Juggling Rhythm Volume 1. This classic rhythm takes on a new life with tracks from both established artists and introduces some incredible new voices. Get your dancing shoes ready with The Juggling Rhythm, featuring international reggae dancehall artist Mr. Vegas, alongside Ian Sweetness, Ed Robinson, Jack Radix, Hezron, Dangling, Joanna Marie featuring Galaxy P, Denny Rants featuring Jawiz, Amber Leak, Christine Alicia, Yishka. Also the new sensations on the rhythm: Zeal, Danger Lee, Marquis Skelenar, Zachary. Available on all digital media outlets. The Juggling Rhythm. Get it, get it, get it.
Yes. Akar Mantino, I'm making notes right now. You are locked in to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift.
The keys to the life that I've been searching for. The sound of your voice when I come home and you greet me at the door. You've got the curves that turn me all the way on. You're the only woman I want in this world, that's for sure. It's our time. You know I love you. It's our time. I'll never let you go. It's our time. Please give your love to me. It's our time. Our love will grow. That beautiful smile that'll always light up my soul. I can feel the glow coming from your heart, and I wanna be a part. The loveliness that pours from your very existence. You can play the part in my life, bring harmony to my world. It's our time. You know I love you. It's our time. I'll never let you go. It's our time. Please give your love to me. It's let you go. It's our time. Please give your love to me. It's our love will grow and grow. The keys to my life, that's what I'm looking.
The sound of Yishka.
The sound of your voice when I
From the Juggling Volume 1. It's called It's Our Time.
got the curves that turn me on.
I want to say thanks to JTMC Enterprise for sponsoring this segment of the show.
I want in this world and that
Providing bookings, promotions, event management, tour management, social media management, entertainment management. The JTMC is your one-stop shop.
will grow.
Give them a call, 678-793-8800. 678-793-8800. Or you can visit them at jtmcenterprise.com. Drop them a line. Tell them you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew.
I don't wanna be without you, not even for a minute. I say I love you more and more every time I wanna stay in it. You're the one that always brings the love back to me. I want you for keeps. Girl, you make me weak. It's our time. Never let me go.
Girl, you make me weak.
Never let you go. I love you, I love you, I love you.
So when you come across that person, or you have that person in your life that they make you weak, get you all neek in the wheeze, how do you deal with it? Yeah, I did say neek in the wheeze. You know, it's one of those things, you know, we all go through it at some point in time. You know, it is said there said to be 3 big myths about vulnerability. So we know vulnerability is scary, but it is also a powerful and authentic way to live. According to Brené Brown, in one of her books, Daring Greatly, how the courage to be vulnerable transforms the way we live, love, parent, and lead. Vulnerability is the core, the heart, the center of meaningful human experiences. That's what Brené Brown says. She defines vulnerability as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Think about the vulnerability it takes to love someone. You worried about loving now? You're realizing now that, wait a minute, was what I was doing really loving? Was I vulnerable? Whether it is your parents, your siblings, your spouse, your close friends, love is filled with uncertainties and risks. Have you taken any in your relationship? As Brown says, the person you love might or might not love you back. There's no guarantee. They might be in your life for a long time, or they may not. They may be terrifically loyal. At the same time, the possibility exists that they may stab you in the back. As a matter of fact, they may do both. Now, that will really get you confused. Think about the vulnerability it takes to share your ideas with the world, not knowing how your work will be perceived. You might be appreciated. You might get laughed at. You may just very well be skewered. Vulnerability is hard. But what can make it even harder, and it's actually quite needless for it to be, what can make it harder are the inaccurate assumptions we hold about vulnerability. And Brené Brown shatters these myths in Daring Greatly. Which myths? The first being that vulnerability is a weakness. According to Brené, the funny thing about vulnerability is that we love when others are open and honest with us. But when it comes time for us to share, then we freak out. So we love it when they do it. But when it's our turn, that's when you have a problem. Suddenly, vulnerability is a sign of weakness. Marlon says no matter how he is familiar with the subject, it's still a challenge to speak publicly. But yet still he does it so well. Well, you're right, Marlon. We're all a work in progress. And I second Julie's endorsement of and kudos to you for continuing to do what you do, even though you felt the urge, the fear of doing it. That the nervousness. You know what, Julie? I want some of those kudos too because I feel it too. I'm just saying. Don't leave me out. Support a brother. Vulnerability is described by Brown as the core of all emotions. To feel is to be vulnerable, she says. So, when we consider vulnerability to be a weakness, we consider feeling one's emotions to be weakness also. But being vulnerable connects us with others. It opens up to love, to joy, to creativity and empathy. Remember we talked about empathy probably a couple months ago. Vulnerability opens up to that. When we look at what makes up vulnerability, we start to see the opposite of weak. Believe it or not. In Brown's book, she shares the various responses she received after asking her research participants to finish the sentence, vulnerability is. Thank you, Julie. Some of the replies she got to finish the statement, the sentence, was starting my own business, calling a friend whose child just passed away, trying something new, getting pregnant after having 3 miscarriages, admitting I'm afraid. And a big one was vulnerability is having faith. When you look at all these things, really and truly, you would think that vulnerability sounds like truth and kind of feels like courage. It paints that picture of someone getting up and standing tall and walking into whatever it is that they call the unknown with confidence. Fear is there, but walking still in confidence. It kind of sounds crazy, but think about it. When you decide that you're going to do something, do you decide you're going to do it and go half in on doing it? When you truly make that decision, let me not say decision. When you truly make that choice, because it's different when you make a decision. You analyze things and you look. When you make a choice, you just decide. Okay, you just say this is what I want to do. Out of habit, we use those words interchangeably. But make that choice and we'll say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Boom, all in, going after it. What happens to our fear at that point? So, the other myth that Brené Brown shatters is the fact that some of us do not experience vulnerability. Because there are people that have actually said to her they don't do vulnerability. But everyone does vulnerability because life is vulnerable. Being vulnerable is not the choice we have to make. Brown says the choice is how we respond when the elements of vulnerability greet us. The uncertainty, the risk, the emotional exposure. How do we respond when we face that? Many of us respond by avoiding vulnerability. But when we do, we typically turn to behaviors that don't align with who we want to be. One of the ways we shield ourselves from vulnerability is with foreboding joy. When things are going well in our life, have you felt that pang of horror that something bad will happen? Jamaicans would say, chicken Mary hawk near. So, as an example, you just got a promotion at work and you're excited and happy. But then, all of a sudden, a wave of OMG, I am going to do something to screw this up, suddenly washes over you. Or it's, wait a minute, what if the company goes bankrupt? That is what Brown refers to as foreboding joy. It's described as the paradoxical dread that clamps down on momentary joyfulness. It's that dark cloud that hovers over your and rains on your parade. But you ever notice how often we forget about the silver lining behind that dark cloud? In her book, Brené Brown she describes several ways that we try to shield ourselves and offer valuable strategies of taking off our ineffective armor. So, again, it's hey, look her up. Brené Brown is something else. The next myth is that vulnerability means spilling your secrets. Some of us automatically balk at vulnerability because we assume that being vulnerable means wearing our secrets on our sleeves, telling the whole world what our deepest, darkest secrets are. We assume that being vulnerable means that we now pour out our hearts to strangers. Just let it all hang out. But vulnerability embraces boundaries and trust. Vulnerability is about sharing our feelings and our experiences with people who have earned the right to hear them. Now, let me just go ahead and squeeze this in here, because earning the right to hear them is dependent on you, the individual. I cannot tell you that someone else has earned the right to hear whatever it is that you have to pour out to them. You have to make that decision. Because we're talking about your vulnerability, and we're talking about you sharing of yourself with someone else. Not you sharing me with someone else. Then I have to give you permission for that. That is where I get to have input. But when it comes to you doing it, that's all on you. So I can't tell you if someone else has earned the right to be that person that you are vulnerable with or towards. Being vulnerable takes courage. But understand that it is well worth it. It is worth it to be ourselves, to connect to others. What will readers think is what one of the questions that Brown worries about when she does her writings. Is that sentence stupid? No, I don't think so. Well, maybe. Will they like the article? Will they hate it? Will they hate me? I can relate to her with that thought. Because I know at times I have come to do my show and I'm like, okay, is this something that people are going to like? Are they going to accept it? Am I going to? And the questions come. That's the fear. But being vulnerable lets you ask the "is it worth it" question. Is it worth it to be you? She said, for Brené Brown, to stop writing and sharing her writing would mean losing a pivotal part of herself. So, what will she do? What does she do? She continues to put her words and her ideas and herself out into the world. Is that something that you're doing? I know it's something that I am doing. Clearly it's something that Marlon is doing. And continues to do for almost 30 years. Brown concludes about daring greatly by saying, and without question, putting ourselves out there means there is a far greater risk of feeling hurt. But as I look back on my own life and what daring greatly has meant to me, I can honestly say that nothing is as uncomfortable, dangerous, and hurtful as believing that I'm standing on the outside of my life, looking in and wondering what it would be like if I had the courage to show up and let myself be seen. That is an experience that changes things. That is a thought, that's a mindset that really changes things. Do you want to stand on the outside of your life looking in, wondering, boy, you know, how different would it be if I actually stood up and stood out? If I actually spoke up? If I actually did that thing which deep down I really want to do? What if I were to accept my authentic self and say to those around me, this is who I am? That's a thought. That's a scary thought. That's being vulnerable.
Youngblood Records.
Rise this morning, give thanks. This life's not guaranteed at all. At all. A lot of people never wake up this morning, never live to see today. Oh, the ones who never heed judge a warning, never live to see today. Violence leave a lot of families falling, never live to see today. A lot of innocent people falling, that live to see today. So if you live to see another day, I tell you don't forget to pray. Jah bless you with his mercy. Another chance to right the wrongs from the choices that you've made. Love will guide you upon your journey. Life is much better when you know what it's worth. Let every step count, let every move work. Here today, tomorrow, say your day and a leader. So set your mind and good living. With that you feel flirt. Waste your days seeking vanity. Flesh thing now go work. Walk fast from dirty liberty road that you no feel hurt. It best to wear a smile than to wear a dirty smirk. Remember we put Jaja first. A lot of people never wake up this morning. Never live to see today. Oh, the ones who never heed Jaja warning. Never live to see today. Violence leave a lot of families falling. Never live to see today. A lot of innocent people falling. Now live to see today. Give thanks and praise, we still fortunate. Work a breeze, spread the message, cause we still have blow breath. Life, no promise on the road where we check, but Jaja never failed me yet. Rise up in the morning giving thanks. With life, I have a special romance. Me and good health a slow dance. Thank you, Jah, for giving me a next chance. You see the sun, you feel the breeze, you feel the pouring. Now take life for granted. You live another day of a million no morning. As Jah has come, a lot of people never wake up this morning. Never live to see today. Oh, the ones who never heed Jaja warning. Never live to see today. Violence leave a lot of families falling. Never live to see today. A lot of innocent people falling. Now live to see today. A lot of people never wake up this morning. Never live to see today. Oh, the ones who never heed Jaja warning. Never live to see today. Violence leave a lot of families falling. Never live to see today. A lot of innocent people falling. Now live to see today. So if you live to see another,
The son of Phil Watkins.
get to pray.
The video for this song is out right now.
Get a chance to write the
What a powerful video. What a powerful song.
guide you on your journey.
This is The Real Storm. The track is called Real Life. I want to say thanks to JTMC once again for sponsoring this segment of the show. Yeah, we're kind of going into an extended musical therapy right now. Why not? This is how we close out the night shift week. Once again, this is new music from The Real Storm. It's called Real Life. You still have the opportunity to call in and share with us. 773-789-STEW. 773-789-7839. And again, it's a judgment-free zone, so you need not worry.
Shed no, call the bed bruise of his friends.
Want to say thanks to the Wake Up and Live show with Sir Rockwell. Sponsors of this segment of the show. It's called Musical Therapy. It's typically how we close out the night shift week. Well, it's typically like how we close out each night shift night. With some musical therapy. Sir Rockwell kicks it off tomorrow morning. Super Thursday on rockthebox.net. Starts off with a little give thanks. And Sir Rockwell has a co-host with him now. The delightful Destiny. Just Destiny. She'll tell you, hey, it's just Destiny. So you can catch them tomorrow morning up until about midday. Super Thursday, Wake Up and Live show. This is Bingy Blaze, a track called One True Friend.
Yeah, what's in the dark must come out in the light, side.
Do you have one true friend? Are you that true friend?
Show me just one true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again. Show me just one true friend. Hey. A long time me mama did that one before them. Show me just one true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again. Show me just one true friend. Hey. A long time the elders did that one before them. One multitude, a pure backstabber. Watch how you share your food, watch how you share your grabber. Them a working at the dark full time like robber. Naja me put me trust and no other. In front of you them laugh, ha 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 ha. And behind your back them say murder, ah 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 ah. Thanks to revelation, praises to Jah. That one you not go no further, just one true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again. Show me just one true friend. Hey. A long time the mama did that one before them. Show me just one true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again. Show me just one true friend. Hey. A long time the elders did that one before them. When the truth was out, sometimes it hurt. Can't believe for the same one when me apart from birth. One thing destroy me soul and kick me off of the earth. Me did hear and say a lie to blouse and skirt. When you have money, only for them come rate you. When you have no money, all your brother hate you. Them a complain about you, that's them a the same way too. That's why the general say he no Joseph, he no certain. Just show me who is who in these times. Just show me who is true in these times. Just show me who is who. Just show me just one true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again. Show me just one true friend. Hey. A long time me mama did that one before them. Show me just one true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again. Show me just one true friend. Hey. A long time the elders did that one before them. Them said I'm drunk, but I'm no fool. Just found it, see what them a say about you. But I no care what them a say, I no care what them a do. A Rastafari where I and I come push through. Just give me one true warrior, please step it. I know I'm far with the back of hypocrite. Tell them to dig to when them a dig them pit. For the one they dig the I them a go fall in a hit. One true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again. Show me just one true friend. Hey. A long time me mama did that one before them. Show me just one true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again. Show me just one true friend. Hey. A long time the elders did that one before.
You think no one sees you when you close the door. make the rules. But don't you ever use it in this game. Eyes are upon you. Upon you, yeah. Careful what you do, someone's watching. Eyes are upon you. Eyes are upon you. Oh, man. Careful what you do, someone's watching you. Eyes are upon you. Always watching you. Careful what you do, someone's watching you. Eyes are upon you. Watching you. Careful what you do, someone's watching you. You think the coast is clear, so you don't have no fear. But little did you know, someone else is always here. Glance at your reflection. You need to find an objection. In an effort to hide, you're just wasting your time, cause they're watching you in every way. Eyes are upon you. Upon you. Careful what you do, someone's watching you. Eyes are upon you. Oh, careful what you do, someone's watching you. Eyes are upon you. Careful what you do, someone's watching you. Watching you. Eyes are upon you. Upon you, yeah. Careful what you do, someone's watching you. Eyes are upon you. I've been watching you. Careful what you do, someone's watching you. Eyes are upon you. Careful what you do, someone's watching you.
You and me inside this moonlit room, and our hearts are making music.
This is the sound of Lady Tia. Happy belated Earth Day to you, Lady Tia. Celebrated her Earth Day yesterday. I was supposed to sing Happy Earth Day to her, but she didn't jump into the chat, so she missed out on that one.
I can give
Before that, we heard from Third World. Eyes are upon you.
but will you still be here?
This track is called Still Be Here.
Or will you love me and leave me low? Will you still be here tomorrow? Will you still be here tomorrow? You make me feel like we are amongst the stars, and this bed is a cloud in heaven. You lift me up so high, I don't wanna come down. Just wanna know where we are heading. I can give you what you really here for. I can give it to you, but will you still be here tomorrow? Or will you love me and leave me low? Will you still be here tomorrow? Will you still be here tomorrow? If you can't hear, you must have to feel, must have to feel. Can't hear, you must have to feel, so take it. If you can't hear, you must have to feel, must have to feel. Can't hear, you must have to feel. Hey, I just better change your ways.
This is Hopeton Lindo. Working out with Sly and Robbie.
Time to come up on the street.
A track called Hard Years.
Hard years, you better change your ways. Hard years, if you want to see longer days. Hard years, time to stop one road before killing
respect you can't hear. I chat about you a gangster and don't hear. Young but you no know no star. Prison life and no false alarm. Gunshot a lick and it no respect no one, so you better change your direction before you end up in a police station or a worse situation. Ideas, you better change your ways. Ideas, if you want to see longer days. Ideas, time to come off of the street before Babylon turn up the heat. Ideas, you better change your ways. Ideas, if you want to see longer days. Ideas, time to stop one rude before killing come down your food. Beat up your family, refusing to quit. Read over blood money, tell me is it worth it? I chat about you a bad boy, hey, and I ride like a cowboy. But time longer than rope, don't take it for joke. Check yourself before you wreck yourself and watch what you smoke. It's not too late to take advice, so listen to the words of the wise. Hey, ideas, you better change your ways. Ideas, if you want to see longer days. Ideas, time to come off of the street before Babylon turn up the heat. Ideas, you better change your ways. Ideas, if you want to see longer days. Ideas, time to stop one rude before killing come down your food.
That's what my father said.
No worries, Julie. I got you. That was ready and waiting for you.
What my father said.
Condolences still going out to Hezzy. Lost his grandpa this week. This is Life is a Poker Game.
Life is a poker game, a game of chance and love. Be careful how you play the game. The cards are never enough. That is and life is a poker game, game of chance and love. Be careful how you play the game. The cards are never enough. Tell me, Father, is there something you done wrong in the past? Why the
Got a little bit carried away there.
Take care, Jah will take care of you. Seek ye the kingdom of Jah. Rastafari.
This is the sound of caution. The track is called No Reason. 12 minutes before I bounce on out of here.
No reason why you can't find Jah. You've got to search within your heart and in your soul. There is no reason why you can't find Jah. You've got to search within your heart and in your soul. I know sometimes it's rough, yes, and I know life can really get tough, yes. Sometimes it feels like it's beating you down, down, down. You don't have to search too far, no. You don't have to dig too deep, no, to find the answer to set yourself free. 'Cause there is no reason why you can't find Jah. You've got to search within your heart and in your soul. There is no reason why you can't find Jah. You've got to search within your heart and in your soul. No reason, no reason you can't find Jah. Seek ye the kingdom of Jah, yes, where all things are pure and clean, yes. Never mind what anyone say. They will find their way one day. Sooner or later, I pray that Jah will show them the way. 'Cause there is no reason why you can't find Jah. You've got to search within your heart and in your soul.
This is my story. This is my song. Praising my Savior all day long.
This is Christine Alicia.
This is my story.
Track called My Story.
This is my song.
10 minutes before I bounce on out of here. This is Musical Therapy. The last one for the week. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for participating.
Come let me tell you a little story.
Truly appreciate love the input.
Morning and us never know about the world. She never know,
Believe me, I couldn't do this without you.
she never know.
No matter how hard I try.
Pharisees and vultures all around. Still the birdie learned to fly out of town. Like Maya Angelou, she learned how to sing. Outside the creation under her wings. This is my story. This is my song. Praising my Savior all day long. This
I want to remind you, advertising spots are still available on the night shift and on kevinstew.com, home of the night shift. Just go ahead and give me a call, 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. Good night, Julie. You yourself enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Egg must keep warm. There is a time for everything underneath the sky.
And again, I want to say thanks to each and every one.
Don't force a thing, it will happen in time. That's the lesson for this burden upon this
Remember,
This is my
look out for somebody in your community. Your community is not just the development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide.
day long. This is my story.
So those people that you pass on the bus, on the plane, on the boat, on the train, these are all members of your community. Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stewart, so I like to do it to you, for you, and with you. Do come back next week. I'm back here on Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern, right after Marlon with Real Rockers. Yeah, Marlon is on from 7 till 10. Then I take over. And as usual, I want to encourage y'all to be good. But if you can't be good, go ahead and be good at it. Whatever your it is. This is Annette Brissett. A place somewhere.
Eat no crumbs from your table, no. Nah, sing any kind of songs you want me to sing. Never say yes when yes means no. And if I fail in your society, there's a place somewhere for me. And God forbid if you don't like me, no. I know there's a place somewhere for me. Not because where I live right now is in shambles. Deep in my heart I live very humble. 10,000 bad men around you and you're living in fear. I don't have no army and I don't care, no. But if I'm in your society, there's a place somewhere for me. God forbid, because you don't like me, no. I know there's a place somewhere for me.
Five more minutes to go. This is Dangling Paper Soldiers.
We not tolerate them bullshit. Find them out, they make we chase them out. You wanna fire, wanna figure, wanna perpetrate the job. None of you finna fight the soldiers. We not tolerate them bullshit. Find them out, they make we chase them out. You wanna fire, wanna figure, wanna perpetrate the job. Paper soldiers, sell out black markers, red, black and green. FBI get nervous. I them assassinate brother Malcolm X. Martin Luther them send up next. Well, at 27 years, Mandela hold the faith. Real soldiers not sell out for beat. None of the soldiers can't live. Lion in the Zion, the soldiers can't steal. No. Youths finna fight the soldiers. We not tolerate them bullshit. Find them out, they make we chase them out. You gonna fire, wanna favor, gonna perpetrate the job. None of youths finna fight the soldiers. We not tolerate them bullshit. Find them out, they make we chase them out. You gonna fire, wanna favor. We stay alert on the back of ground. Good Jaja first in the back of plan. Can't shake the claim from Africa. Stand firm as a warrior, we rock, can't tap it up. Big up all the revolution is in Africa. Big up all the real warriors in Jamaica. Buffalo soldiers, not up in America. We a soldier, wanna go all our Ghana. We not tolerate them out. Find them out, them up, we chase them out. Jump on the fire, wanna fight. Gonna perpetrate the job.
Guess what I'm about to be off to do? The sound of Sean and Dazzle. I'm off to enjoy the ride. Catch y'all very soon. For all of you who are off to be bad tonight, do take care. Enjoy the strong end. Catch you on the flip side. Take care. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to you wherever you are in the world. I'm out of here.
It's good to know you got the cure. I hope you'll be here real soon, 'cause I've got a lot in store. And boy, it's my intention to keep you begging for more. I'm gonna be bad tonight, broke on tonight. Make you see my other side. Yes, I'm in the mood tonight to be rude tonight. So enjoy the ride.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.